Hey, Wolfpack, who's hungry?
This one's not on a timer, so it's just gonna keep running.
No, that's
Keep
fine.
it simple. But no, the aspect of like, for example, one of the kids in this video, right, that I'm editing, his name is Noah. This guy, he's 16. I met him last year, and literally we did one trick, and it was the trick that now we love doing, like when we're challenging each other. It's just a feeble. So when you put I think you know already, but putting the front tire on and then putting the back peg on. Okay. We did that as a trick the first time I had met him, and he was just really nonchalant, really chilling and everything. The bike community that we had at Kona was really cool. And I looked at him like, yeah, you wanna do a clip? And he was like, yeah, man, sure. And he's like, where? I was like, right here. We just did it. All we gotta do is do it back to back. We started challenging each other and everything like that. That alone, and I didn't even know his age then. Mm-hmm. That alone inspired me to be like, well, if I can do this with this kid, yeah, what means that I can't do this with another kid? You know what I mean? And then inspire them to actually do something, get outside and have fun and you know, make that progress, because it's an X game sport. Mm-hmm. Right? People can say, oh, you're messing around and doing this and doing that, but how do kids get introduced to something outside of football, basketball, or baseball, soccer? Like, how do you get introduced to any of the other things outside of in that world if somebody older than you isn't trying it and spending their money on it?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is actually true. Because anything that kids do is based on people are like, no, music doesn't influence, blah, blah, doesn't influence. But at the end of the day, when you were a kid, if something was going on in your neighborhood, if the older kids were playing football, you would tend to go to play football. Yeah. Because that's what inspired you. Everybody was doing it. So it's like you're saying, let me inspire other people, introduce them to my world, and my world is this, you know? So, yeah. Just combining things, basically.
Yeah, you actually do, like, so when we do projects like in school and stuff like that, like you and your partner get a participatory grade. Mm-hmm. Okay, based off of that grade, this is what you both got, but this is how much work. Like, I always used to be the guy that get the partner that did none of the work, and I would do all the fucking work. And then it'd be like, okay, cool. So what are we doing? And I'm like, bro, what do you mean we? I did all this fucking thing.
I was on the other side of the. I was the guy that didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything.
And then I would come in clueless, being like, so, yeah, give me the paper so I can go over it. So if she asks me anything, the teacher, I can be like, yeah, that's in this page. Yeah. But teachers always knew who did what. They'll always be like, come here, Chris. Did you actually do anything? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, stop lying. You didn't do anything. But yeah.
I was there when it was talked about. When you assigned me to this class and this assignment, I was there. Yeah. During the project, I might not have been there.
I might not. But hey, it's done, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. We're here. It came out really good.
Yeah, they will give me an F and give the other person whatever score they got.
Bro, my school didn't do that. They would always be like, oh yeah, this is the grade you got collectively.
Oh no.
And I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? I come from like in Chicago, where everybody's like, oh well, the city's just messed up and it can't be fixed. And I'm like, that's your mindset. Now you keep yourself, because you believe that, you 100% believe that. Now you sit inside to keep yourself safe, which is great. You're keeping yourself safe. You're awesome. Good time. Now what about the kids that don't want to stay in the house?
Can't stay in the house either because they'll go crazy.
Yeah. They don't. There's nothing to do with all that energy, all that extra testosterone, and then you're like, "Oh, my son is going crazy. He never acted like this before." You keeping him inside all day, and then he goes there and sits in front of a computer. Like when they were doing online classes, I know that shit was driving kids crazy. Like I'm with my parents all the time. I'm sitting here. I have to do homework, and then after that, I have to listen to a teacher on a screen for hours. No. Like, bro, I was sitting in the classroom just losing my mind. Like, bro, what the fuck?
And you were surrounded by people, and you can look around and you can mess around with your friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the occasional, like, like some random shit. Something, anything for like a quick distraction. Hey, come on, let's focus. Now the teacher knows that everybody's going to joke around every now and again. It's going to happen. but it gives that brief moment of a break. Like,
Yeah.
let's have some fun for a minute, you know?
And they didn't have that in their house. What they were gonna do? Look around, like you
Like,
can't.
no, your mom and your dad are gonna be like, hey, get back to class, like whatever.
Yep.
And now you're taking out of the parents' time to be solo dolo, you know, have their own time.
Yeah.
So I only saw that aspect of it just now, like as an parent.
adult, as a
Yeah,
parent.
as a
Yeah,
parent,
yeah.
because I'm like, damn. And on the days that my kids don't have school, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to school. That's free daycare right there, bro. Real shit. That's what it is.
That's how I look at like schools. I've always said it since I was young. I was like, this is just babysitting for
Yes.
our parents to go out to work because they needed to go out to work, and to have whatever time they needed to be with themselves.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, now we're parents, and it's like
You don't
we
have
know.
that time for yourself in the morning.
But it was bad for everybody then, because your kids are inside. Even if they had time to like have like lunch break, at least they got with their friends and started talking and and all that thing. Lunch break at your house. What are you gonna do at your house
Yeah.
without your friends around or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been hard, and not everybody is the same. Like probably a example, Stephanie. I know she can easily not get distracted, right? I get distracted, so I
did too.
couldn't do something that she could do. So not every kid is the same.
No.
I have major ADHD, so I can't be doing one thing at a time.
Yeah.
I was in school doing multiple things, and I still couldn't focus.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I was the same way for math. So like, show up to the class, and I'd immediately be like, oh, okay, all right, today you just gotta try. You gotta try a little bit. But like I said,
yeah.
when I got to that junior year and I had no motivator, my motivator would be like, okay, I gotta keep my grades at this point in order for me to be able to go to track practice. That wasn't there anymore. It was just like, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna watch my siblings.
There was no purpose anymore.
And then I'm gonna get up and go to school again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when you get in that mindset, even as an adult, when it's like, yeah, all right, I gotta go to work, I gotta pay some bills, you immediately start feeling down.
Yeah. There's
Like,
no excitement.
There's no excitement there. There's no like, oh man, I get to figure out. That's what I did like when I got out the Navy and got into like construction stuff.
Yeah.
Is that I had to intrigue my brain. I was just like, you have to know that you're messing with somebody's house.
Exactly.
You have to know that what you're doing, if you take the water away, turn the water off, and you cut a pipe, you have to be able to put that pipe back together.
Back together.
But that's like, oh my gosh, But when it was, okay, I have this algebra class that I have to go to. I don't care if it made me more mad that my teacher was one of the track coaches, because I was like, I can't even go see you after this. And then she was like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're not like this, during track practice. And I'm like, I can't go to track this year. When you take that motivator, what do you have? As a teacher, what fuel do you have at that point?
Yeah, no. It's like everything in life. You don't have the purpose is out of the question. You're just like, okay, like you said, let me go to work, let me do this, and then let me repeat the same thing tomorrow.
Yep.
Especially for like people like us, or people who are even, let's say, viewing us or going to see this. Anybody that feels distracted, like right now we're talking, and at the same time we're like studying. He's doing edited videos, because that's just the way our mind works now. Like if any parent is seeing this and stuff like that, and you find these characteristics on your son and stuff like that, it's not because he's not listening. It's not because he's whatever, he's ignoring you or something. It's just the way his brain works. If we don't find something that motivates us or that intrigues us, then our mind, like right now, if I'm studying and I don't like what I'm studying, my mind, it goes to something else. It wants to grab onto something that it's actually attracted to. If not, like, that's true. That's just the way we function. And I know there's other people that don't have ADHD or whatever. Some people don't even believe in ADHD, and that's fine. Everything is fine, but this is the way we operate. And I feel it's very important, because if you know how certain people operate, then probably you won't feel offended if you see me looking that way, but I'm actually paying attention to you.
Yes.
So those type of things make maybe your relationship with your friend, with your mom, with your dad, with your son even better, because you know what's going on and you can address it properly.
Yeah, it's very true. I think that I used to have a really hard time with trying to explain to people that I don't like talking about like BS.
Yeah.
So, like like I didn't watch sports growing up as a kid, right? Like I played video games with my dad, and we lifted weights. Like while I watched him lift weights, and then when I finally was able to lift, like or like do a little, remember that little thing you squeeze?
You squeezed, yeah.
Yeah. So he'd be like, here, you can do this, and I'm like, I can't. He's like, that's what weights is.
Yeah.
You have to do this. If you can do this, then I'll give you a 5-pound weight.
5-pounder,
And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna squeeze this thing. Like, and you got it with 2 hands. You're like, yes, that progression system.
Yeah.
That's what made me happy. But I realized getting older, like as a man, that's a general easy conversation for people to slip into is sports.
Yeah.
Not so much weights. Because when you're talking about weights, you're talking about yourself doing it more than likely. You're not talking about like Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything like that. It's a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, that boy Cam Newton or whatever is gonna win it this year. That's my team.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot easier to be like, that's my team
Then
than
this
to
is
be
what I
like,
do.
this is my body. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
look
That's
what I did.
Look, it's a whole lot easier because whether they win or they lose, your team, whether they win or they lose, you didn't have to put in any effort except for turning on the TV.
The TV, and that's it.
And that's it. Or paying for that cable box or whatever the fuck, So it creates this aspect for me. I haven't seen the halftime show yet. I don't know who was on the halftime show. I didn't even know who was playing in the game of the Super Bowl until I won't say her name for the thing, but until she called me and she was like, "Hey, you guys watching the Super Bowl right now?" I was like, I didn't even know. I don't even know who's playing right now.
Yeah, I don't care.
But I will still intrigue in the conversation because of the simple fact that it's an attempt for a conversation.
Yeah.
Now, when I do tell people like, hey, I don't really watch sports like that, but I know this, I try to work with it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's still, like I said, it's still an engaging conversation. Now, will I engage in that conversation for the next couple of days? Probably not. I don't care.
Exactly.
It's not my thing. I'll listen to someone, but more than likely after that, I'm bringing up a subject that'll help me learn something, that will engage me in some sort of way, or how I can improve and learn and learn how to see things from a different perspective. Even just that, I don't even have to learn something crazy like extravagant.
Yeah.
For me, it's just, can I take something away from the conversation that we're having?
Yep. And I feel that's where we're in the same boat. It's the same SAC mentality as in, I think those conversations are good when you're just a kid. Like, obviously, because you don't have too much to talk about. You're just a kid. So you go to school and then you just watch whatever it is. So it might not even be sports, but it could have been like a specific cartoon. And then you're talking to your friend about the same cartoon for 7 days, and maybe that person's like, okay, I don't want to hear about the cartoon. I don't even see that cartoon, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay in that level because you're just learning. But I feel people don't know how to read the room or read energy and read a conversation and how to have a conversation that keeps moving forward and keep it fresh all the time by just saying, how's the weather? And then what do you have to give me back? Oh, it's great. Oh yeah. And then what else? Where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the sports game? Yeah, I saw the sports game. It was great. Oh, did you? Then what?
Oh man, my job. It's yeah.
Same
I wish I
thing.
could do something about my job. I fucking hate my job. Oh well. And then this is where I usually like kind of like this right in the bud. I'll be like, oh well, you could always quit.
Yeah.
You could always quit. You could always find another job and doing whatever. What do you do? And then
They get pissed off about
and
that.
it's like, yeah, all right, man.
Yeah, they get offended by that. They were just expecting for you to be the same as everybody
Yeah,
else. To be
complain
like,
as well.
oh, what happened with your job? No, you don't like your job? All right, do something about it.
Yeah.
Because if you're complaining to me for a whole year about your job, I don't want to hear it because it's just, at that point, it's an excuse, man. Like, just do something about it. Gary Vee says it. Like, Gary Vee, I heard
Gary
something.
Vee is the shit. Shout out to Gary Vee. Shout out to Gary Vee, bro. That's fire.
Gary Vee changed my way of looking at things. He was like, one time, I don't know if it was the exact same thing he said, but he said something along the lines that he was like, when I'm 40, I'm going to start the gym. And then he looked at himself in the mirror. He's like, well, I can bullshit everybody else, but I can't bullshit myself. It's like, so what's so special from 40 that I can't do now at 38, right? It was just an excuse. And when I started seeing myself and taking myself accountable for things that I say, my whole world changed. Like, I'm gonna go to the gym now. I'm gonna do something now. Don't be like, oh, I hate this. Well, take action. I'll respect you more if you took an action and failed, but you at least tried instead of hearing your whining for a whole year. I can't take it. I'll be like, okay, like, then go to the gym, or then leave that person, or leave that job, or do what you want to do.
I think the second part to that, from my aspect is I will let someone vent.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to vent.
Yeah.
Right? I'll let somebody vent with me, especially if I consider you my friend. Shit, I'll even let a customer, or not a customer, but like a associate, somebody that I meet.
Yep.
Right? Vent for a good couple of seconds. And I'll be like, okay, cool, I absorbed that. Here's my reflection.
Yeah.
Right? If I have absorbed the venting for you to de-stress a little bit, I don't expect anything from you, but I expect you to try to be better than that. The next time. Right? But if you come to me and the cycle is still continuing, you will continue to go through the same thing over and over until you decide to change it and run a different cycle, because life is still moving.
It's still moving.
It's still moving regardless.
No, it's still moving.
Water is going to keep flowing. Air is still going to be breathable for a certain amount of time. You know what I mean? Trees will still fall. I used to love that saying, if a tree falls and nobody's around, does it still make noise? Yes, it still makes noise because there's a vibration and a frequency. You don't feel it.
You don't feel it, but it did.
But the thing that's on that ground, the insects, that affected that might give a whole plant life, new life, yeah. Because that tree fell over. The tree might have died, but now it's providing a home for all those insects, for the animals. It's providing food for, you know what I mean? Yeah,
it just keeps going.
But me as a human, I'm just like, oh man, I wonder if somebody got hurt over there by that tree that fell. That's as much as it has affected me. Like, you know exactly. What I mean? That's it. It does nothing. It does nothing else. And that's the way we see it now, right? But like in your own personal life, if I'm doing something and I lost my way, I'm completely fucking lost. I have to start from square one. No, you can decide that, I'm gonna lay here on the floor like a tree and I'm just gonna wait to see what happens. And you'll watch life get worse and worse and worse and worse.
Because life keeps going. You're the one that just stuck in, let's say, this whole room. Picture your room, right? And you only see what's inside of your room. That's all you see, that's all you know. But you planted things in your room as comfortable as you wanted your room to be reflection to yourself. So everything around the room that you're looking at right now is part of you. But let's say 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, you outgrow what you like. What are you gonna do, right? You're gonna change the environment to match who you are now. But a lot of people stay stuck in the same room and don't even know, and they feel that outside this room, nothing else is going on, but there's a whole life going on outside of your little room. So everything is happening, nothing is stopping for you. Now, if you want to change your environment, not only do you have to change and reflect who you are, but you got to go out that door and see what's at the other side. So you have more knowledge. That's why we say we always like knowledge, because it just expands, your universe expands. So now you're not looking at your room, right? Let's say you have to go to the bathroom. You don't go to your bathroom in your own room, right? You need to go outside and go to the bathroom. So it's the same concept. You need to get out of your comfort zone and start looking at things that might help you. And I just don't understand why people just stay stuck and don't do, it's easy for you to say because you blah, blah. There's a lot of people who are going to say, look where you live. Oh, look what you have. Oh, but you have a business. Oh, it's going great.
I didn't grow up with that.
I didn't grow up with that.
Like I did not have majority of the things that I have today in my childhood. I can truthfully say that. Like I remember literally borrowing Wi-Fi from my neighbor.
Exactly.
Like I didn't have Wi-Fi growing up, and then it was like, oh hey, give us the Wi-Fi password. I'm like, oh well, the neighbor gave me this so that way I can contact. I don't give a fuck. Give me the Wi-Fi password. Okay, cool. Now all of our stuff is running off of their Wi-Fi. I'm like, I want my own Wi-Fi. I want to not lag.
Yeah.
And that's when it started with. Like it started with little things for me.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I want consistent internet connection, and I don't want to lag, not one time. I connected to the Ethernet cable for the first time when I was like 19 years old in my first apartment. I was like, this is great.
This is awesome.
I'm going so fast. And you know, you enjoy that aspect of being able to play a video game, and you enjoy the little things. And as you get older, it's just like, okay, great. Internet connection is really important because it's part of my now work everyday life.
Yeah.
But what else do I care about? I bought a fucking fancy ass car. Oh great, this feels good. I'm driving this car, and then when the car payment shows up, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta pay this thing. Oh, my insurance. Oh, you know.
But people don't want to go through that. And my bad.
The biggest thing that I can take from it is that you have to also learn the responsibility of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can enjoy the things that you have, but you also have to. I did fucking Miss Rachel together. You can enjoy the things.
Father life.
Fucking yeah, bro. Just, you can enjoy the things that you have with the people that you love, but you have to realize that comes with responsibilities as well. So it's not like we just got these things and it was like, oh yeah, now life is good.
Yeah, no.
You still have to take care of the responsibility behind having those things.
Yep.
Right? Like,
they don't understand that, right?
It's
like, oh great, yeah, we needed to get out of our comfort zone and go get what we needed to get.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying, you want a better internet? All right, let's get a better internet.
How much does this cost? How much does this plan cost? Right?
Yeah.
You have to make the plan.
That's the first thing. Yeah, the first thing you should be doing is researching, right? Anything you want to, instead of assuming things, bro. We're in an age where you have a laptop, you have internet, you have anything, and you can just search things, right? Before, we didn't have YouTube or explaining how to put a light bulb. No, you will get electrocuted or die or shocked, and that was it. And you learn from your mistakes. You have everything here, you know, and it's like, why not get? The first thing you should do is gather enough information, and that's when you will know if you're really, really serious about what you want. Because if you can't even research for what you want, then how bad do you want it?
That's true.
So if you don't like it, if you find yourself struggling just to get information and just bailing out, then it was not that important to you. Because anything that you want, that you really, really want, you have. Yeah. There's nothing that you really, really desire that you do not have.
Yeah.
Everything you want a PlayStation 5, you have it. You want a cell phone, now you got it.
That you can't attain. Like, it's all attainable.
Everything.
Like if it kind of brings back to that conversation that we had where it's like, it's an amount of time that it takes to obtain it.
Yeah.
And not comparing that, oh, well, this person got it overnight. You don't know how long they were working on something.
You don't even know, exactly.
You don't know, you just seen the point of success.
Mm-hmm.
When you go back and you really research it, you'll be like, oh shit, I didn't know they were acting it since 10 years ago, 7 years ago. Exactly. Nobody knew their name. Right. Because nobody cares about your story until you make it.
So you make it.
But you have to care about it the whole way, from whether it's living on the street, fucking getting evicted, whatever the rock bottom is. From there you can go up, and you might tap it again, but you'll never hit it the same way. Because it'll be familiar. It'll be like, okay, cool. Well, damn, I'm down right now. I've been down before. Okay, well, what did I do then? If you can re-implement those things, and if they're things that helped you move forward before, they will help you again. Yeah. I always found the thing that when I hit rock bottom that helps me to really get my mind in the game again is working out. That's what helped me out.
That's actually true.
It's like when I get down there, I don't always want to deal with that anger with doing a punching bag or just like sitting.
It's your bro.
Sitting somewhere in a long ass time and sulking is actually way worse in my opinion.
You would think that
sitting
doesn't affect anything because you're not doing anything. But bro, if you break it down, not doing anything is the worst thing that you could do.
Yes.
You not doing anything, you're just, and I understand because, you know, I've been depressed and shit like that. I know people be like, depression is not real, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. But when you're down, you call it whatever you want to call it. But when you're down and you're like, bro, I don't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. Nah, don't let those thoughts get into you. Like, you will have them, but you're the ultimate one that chooses if you want to accept those thoughts or not accept those thoughts. So for me, it was the same thing. When you were saying, I was like, what did take me out of that environment, out of that and it was literally weights.
Yeah.
You know, weights or being outside, being in nature,
Yeah.
going to the beach, whatever you find yourself very comfortable with, and you lose yourself. If it's video games, whatever it is, at least try to do that.
Yeah. I can even say as being a YouTuber for like I think like the last like 4 years or something like that, it does not change the fact that I'm still a human being.
Yeah.
And I think that people see like football players and soccer players, baseball players, all this stuff, or rappers and country artists, whatever. They see them as that's the thing that they do,
Yeah.
and comedians, and they have this title, so they are that thing. If you look at any of those people, they have deals for wearing clothes, they have deals for shooting videos, they have deals for drinking a certain product, wearing a certain brand, talking a certain way, doing all these different lineup of shits, but they're still at the end of the day a human being. A human being.
Yeah.
And that is their life that they're deciding to put money and effort into.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody would give them that offer if they didn't make the attempt to improve themselves first. And you see those artists that don't attempt to prove themselves first, and they only did it for the aspect of the money or for the ability to buy whatever the things they wanted. That they get those things and they're not happy with them.
Yeah.
Because we all seen, you know, like celebrities with drug habits. Oh my God, it gets so bad when you finally get the money that you want. Let that thing start going down at all, ticket sales or anything. They start fucking dosing up.
Yeah.
Dosing up, because it's like now my reality is not about to be this cush.
They lose, like you said, they even fans titled them comedians. Let's just use comedians, and then they title themselves comedians. And when that goes away, like you said, they didn't how can I say this? They were lost. They didn't know who they were. They lost their identity. They only stuck with comedian. And once that's done, what else do you have? You have to be, you need to know who you are. So know who they are and don't lose your identity because of what I was saying. If you title yourself a comedian that leaves, because they'll eventually will leave, then you just feel hollow and they'll feel like they're nobodies anymore. That the world doesn't even notice me anymore, so therefore I am nobody, which is not true. Because if you went into being a comedian and did other things, not just being a comedian, but being a writer, helping people, or things like that.
Teaching other people how to make jokes.
I was about to say that. Yep. There's so many other things that you can do, like Ichiro Suzuki. I think it was his story where when he got out of baseball, huge depression. That was his life.
Yeah.
That was like his life. But you can still continue in that life, but without being the center of the stage. You can help kids, help people, help others, build brands around who you are and about what you love. And then that keeps going. But again, it's having multiple things. And another thing is, people look at these as they were not even human, like superhuman. You'll see them in a concert crying their eyes out just because they look towards their way. Yeah. Oh my God, they looked at me. I got to touch him. I got to touch him. Like if he was Jesus himself. He came down with a microphone and started saying, and like you touched him, it's like, oh my God, he's another human being. Like they will even say, I'm another human being. Like they don't understand.
But I think that it's like there's this always said like, oh, if I was able to meet J. Cole, right? If I was able to meet, let's see, somebody had asked me this. They were like, oh, what would be the top three celebrities that you would ever meet? And I was like, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and Nelson Mandela. And they were like, what? Nelson Mandela is not a celebrity. I was like, in his country he is. And they were like, well, that doesn't count. And I was like, no, it counts.
It counts.
That's a person I would love to meet. That man spent majority of his life in jail and then got out and was happy and so nice to everyone. Like, what? I was like, that is incredible to me, because my mindset, if I was in jail for something I did not do, and they just wrongfully jailed me, and then I got out, and everybody was just like, "Oh my God, you're so strong. I know your story."
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably be like, "Man, get out my face. I've been in jail for
Like,
this long.
yeah.
I don't want to talk to anybody. I would just want to be by myself." That's truthfully just me.
Yeah.
He got out. He said his story. He stated it. He strongfully and willfully was like, "This is my life, but now I have the rest of my life to decide what to do with it."
So yeah, that's a person that you would like to take. How did you do it?
Yeah.
How? Teach me your patience, because that's literally not easy to do. I'll be in the same boat. I'll be like, just don't bother me. Like, get away. Like, because he could have been like, I lost 30 years, whatever it was, for whatever time, I lost that, and then he gets out and he's just thinking about that only.
Yeah.
But he found a way to be like, you know what? I already did my time. What happened. Today, I have to live in the present, and that's a huge thing that nobody does. And I included myself. I don't live in the present, because if you lived in the present, you will, like a dog. A dog, you can walk out the door right now, come back, and they don't have sense of time, and they're happy to see you.
Yeah.
Right. So we're just thinking about the past and the future. You can't think about the future because you can't control the future, but you're emotionally attached to the future because you're like, oh, I gotta go tomorrow, blah blah blah. But what if this happens and it doesn't even go correctly?
Yeah.
What does your mind do? Gets pissed off as if it already happened.
It already happened.
How the hell? Like, and that's why you're like, let me stick to the present, because I'm already getting pissed off at something that didn't even happen.
yet. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's how much your mind is powerful. Your mind is so powerful that it can create anything.
It really can, and I think that the aspect that we all, I think, want to attain one day is the fact that we are in control of our future. That's what we all want to know. Is that it's like, okay, well, if I do this, then I know I'm in control of my future because I'm doing what I said I wanted, right? But even if you do that, you can't control what happens after you do it.
Yeah.
You could literally go to sleep. My son has showed me this multiple times. You can go to sleep and think you're gonna get 8 hours of sleep, and the second you hear crying and you wake up, you know you did not get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
But you have two options. It's either hurry up, put the baby back to sleep so I can try to get as much sleep as possible, or let me lay in this bed and let this baby cry for a little bit longer
To see if they
go to sleep by themselves.
Nah.
Sometimes you just gotta get the fuck up.
You got it. Yeah.
You just gotta do it. You have to do these things, and then therefore, the day that you do get 8 hours of sleep, appreciate it. You see, like there's that line, a timeline sandwich of just. Okay, this time sucks currently, right now. How do I make myself feel better about what's going to happen in the future, even if it might suck too? Is that right now I know I'm making a decision that will be better for my future. Yeah. Right? That little moment. Creating the content, studying, even if I don't get to edit this today, I know that we made the effort to make time to do it. You know what I mean? Yep. You might not, I know I'm not wearing the fucking clothing I feel like wearing for this. I feel like I should be wearing more professional clothing or whatever the fuck. But that comes with time. Like, you have to know, okay, how do I prepare for this? Yeah. How do I do this? How do I, I charge the batteries. Okay, cool. I was prepared technology-wise. Yeah. Right? Maybe I wasn't prepared in another way. Sometimes you just won't get it every time.
But that's the beauty of it. Guess what? A lot of people think, and I'm this way. I'm a perfectionist. So I understand a lot of people out there are perfectionists, and they'll be like, I didn't do it because of. Because I wasn't wearing the right clothes. I didn't like the lighting. I don't have my ring lights around. I don't have my microphone in front of me. Yeah. But the people that actually make it in life, they'll do it no matter what. They'll have an idea. Let me record my idea on my phone, even if it sucks, and I'm gonna be the one hearing it. But I know that later on, I did enough right now to compound little wins during an amount of time equals up to like the jackpot. Let's say, like, you're putting a little bit of effort, but when it explodes. People don't see. That's what we were talking about. People don't see the whole story behind how we created it, why we created it. Yeah. Because everybody has excuses. Oh, I didn't have my blue shirt on. Yeah. You're making excuses, bro. Because if you have good content and you're doing something you love, it shouldn't even matter. You
Not
know?
only that, people won't care.
They don't care. Exactly.
Bro,
they
people
won't care.
won't care. They like the fancy lights and the nice desk set up with the podcast that has the perfect microphone where you could see him grab it and move it to his mouth and all that
Yeah.
shit. That's great. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's really cool.
But you
at
gotta
the
work
end of
up
the
to
day, when
it.
you look at that, you're like, I know those motherfuckers got money.
Yeah.
And I know they've been doing this for a longer time.
And maybe they even started off like this.
If you go back to the beginning, it could be a laptop with some cords plugged in and one fucking camera.
Yeah.
Like that's how you can start. All movies productions didn't start with these blockbuster numbers
No.
of a giant what do you call that, funding to do the whole
Yeah.
movie. Sometimes it was just like there was a fun fact that I had learned some years back. Friday, the movie Friday with Ice Cube.
Yeah.
It was filmed, and please feel free to fact check me on this. I believe it was filmed in like 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, in that
Wow.
neighborhood that was right there. It was
That's
just filmed.
crazy.
And that's how fast they did all that stuff. They just did it on different
They
days.
just did it.
That movie is in history, like one of the best hood movies / like black film movies
Yeah.
ever. Because
Everybody
it's
knows
iconic.
about it.
Everybody
It's iconic,
knows.
yeah.
Everybody knows about the lines. Everybody knows about Debo. People know about Smokey.
Yep.
Like people make jokes and references from it. Like at least for my generation. I don't know about the next generation coming up.
Exactly. But
They might not.
even then, I think they'll eventually.
Even generational fucking levels.
Yeah. So that's why I say though you don't know where they came from. Like that's a great example. They just did it. Like here it is. And people love it for what it is. I feel people connect more with people that are true, that act true, and it's authentic. I think people can relate, and if it's things that are relatable, you know.
Yeah.
Because you can have example music wise, you can have the best vocal or the best setup or the best auto compression, all these things, and make the artist sound amazing. But if nobody messes around with what they're saying, then all that money went to the drain.
Yeah.
Because you have rappers and you have singers
Yes.
that came off of YouTube with the same mic that comes with the laptop, Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody just, as a human, we look for excuses not to do the things we love. Why is that? We always put aside the things we love because like, if somebody says something bad about it, we feel more offended because we're more attached to what we love.
Yeah.
And if you're doing something that you don't like and somebody says something, what's your excuse? Well, I don't play baseball, so I don't care. I didn't have to hit the ball there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care about it. But instead of people doing things that they do love, is just excuses. Don't.
It's a fear. It's a fear because it's like okay, well, what if everybody else is right?
True.
What if they're right?
Well, then you get to know.
And that's what I always tell people. It's
to
like
know, that's it.
It's like, oh yeah, I want to lose this weight, but I don't think I can do it. You know, my homegirl said it's really hard to lose weight, or
That was her experience?
My homie said you know, getting in the gym 5 days a week is actually really hard. Yeah, they told you how hard it is for them to do something.
Exactly.
I've found it so easy some days to not even think about just getting up and doing it and just doing shit. Sometimes that the thought of it will make it a lot harder for me to do something than it is
Yeah.
to just, like, if I wanted to swim in the fucking pool, right? If I put on my shorts and I'm like, okay, putting on the shorts, and I'm on my way out the door, and my girl goes, "Are you about to go swimming?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm about to go swimming. Oh, did you grab a towel? Oh no, I didn't grab a towel. Okay, now I gotta run upstairs, go grab a
Yeah.
towel real quick. Okay, I already gotta go downstairs, grab the pool key. Oh, did you get your goggles? I know you have goggles. I know you want to wear your goggles. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I do have goggles. Now I gotta go find the goggles. Now I'm adding extra accessories when I
extras.
could have been in the pool already.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't get to dry off with the towel, I'll dry off.
In the air.
It'll dry off eventually, as long as I don't get my floor wet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. But when you hinder the process so much, it starts to add up. It starts to really add up, and it takes away from the whole idea in the first place.
Yeah, and what if one of those comments that somebody else said to you was like, "Did you check how cold the pool was?" Now you're thinking about, shoot, should I even go to the pool? Is it really that cold? Instead of like you said, just the initial thought, just do it.
Yeah.
A wolf pack. Who's hungry?